What's up, guys? This is Alex, aka Fluka. Excuse me. Here for my team builder for week 1 of season 4 of the NES. And I realized in the last video I didn't even address the fact that I've changed my team name to the Galissa Padres. No real reason. I just kind of wanted to change the name up. I think I'm probably just going to end up changing the name every couple seasons just to keep it fresh because we don't have any championships. We have nothing to prove. We're just here to have some fun and make fun puns out of Pokemon. But anyway, this week we are going up against Wyrd and the Nottingham Forest Curse. And we actually helped her draft. And so I know that she planned... long story short, you guys probably know this because you're probably from the league. But Wyrd couldn't be at the draft. And so she spent a week planning her draft. And then she had to get me to draft in her set because I was announcing all the calls anyway. And I know for a fact that she got everything she wanted, except she got Gastrodon instead of Vaporeon, which is actually better for her in this match because it walls Garchomp and Entei better. So it kind of worked out for her. So I know she has her dream team that she planned. So we have a big fight ahead of us. You can see her team on the right, arranged by speed. She's got Whimsicott, Zipstrika, Mega Diancie, Latios, Mismagius, Staraptor, Hitmontop, Exploud, Scizor, Ditto, and Gastrodon. So let's break down what we're bringing first. We have Air Razor, our Mega Pidgeot, rocking out with Hurricane, Heat Wave, Hidden Power Steel, and U-Turn. U-Turn is just for general pivoting. HP Steel is obviously for the Diancie. A lot of my calcs this week require prior damage, which is unfortunate because I actually worked hazards out of this build, and I'm not really sure how I feel about it. I may change that before game day. But if they switch in, and I can get even a resisted hit off, get 2% off, most of my things can kill. So that's kind of what I have to work around and keep in mind this match. So that's the case for HP Steel and Mega Diancie, provided she's not running any bulk on the special side. She would probably, I would imagine, for a lot of Mons, I have a lot more physical presence on my team, I think. So she would probably go defense, or a naive nature rather than a hasty nature. So hopefully that can pay to our advantage and we can get some kills with HP Steel. Hurricane is just other spam, and then U-turns to get out. Heat Wave allows me to hit Scizor, which otherwise kinda walls me, but I mean, it's even a bulky Scizor doesn't want to take Hurricanes. Next up, we have Mufasa, and you can already see that this is a different set. Oh, sorry. Back to Air Razor. I'm running enough speed at 185 to outspeed Whimsicott. Sorry about that. Next up, we have Mufasa, our Entei. And we're running a special set this week because I have drafted a couple of these Pokemon before. I want to show that I can use them differently. I used to have a different set on another Pokemon coming up that you'll see. But I want to try and get creative. I want to try and think outside the box. I don't want to get locked into it because then people will be able to predict me really easily, and I want to keep the mind games up so it helps me when they're doing their team build. So we're running Firium Z Sunny Day, which gives us the +1 to speed, which allows us at our speed investment. What do we outspeed? 128. We outspeed a Scarfed. No, we don't outspeed Scarfed Raptor. We outspeed a Scarf's Exploud though. Anything else other than that, we wouldn't be able to outspeed anyway. She has a pretty fast team with, 6 Mons, a base 100 or higher. So even if we were running max speed, anything faster than Staraptor we would tie with anyway. So we only worried about Hitmontop. So we outspeed a Hitmontop that isn't Scarfed, or a Scarfed Hitmontop. We do outspeed Scarfed Scizor and Exploud, which is worth noting because those are actually threats that she could bring. But with the Sunny D, we're going to be able to outspeed almost anything that isn't Scarfed. And with this coverage, we can hit pretty much everything. The only thing we can't hit is Latios. It resists all of our moves, so we kind of have to get rid of Latios before we can pull the trigger on this, especially since I think Scarf Lati makes a lot of sense against my team. So I'm going to be scouting for that the whole time. I'm going to be keeping my eyes on Latios to see if it's possibly Scarfed. because otherwise it'll just wall this thing and I'll waste it. But the Solar Beam on Gastrodon is, again, it's one of those things that's guaranteed to kill if it has a little bit of chip damage. So that's part of the reason I ran a special set, is I think physical Gastrodon, or physically defensive Gastrodon, I should say, is a really good bring against me. So she could switch in, I can get the Sunny Day off, and as long as I get a little bit of damage off already, Solar Beam should kill. Although if it is a physically defensive one, it's a pretty much guaranteed kill. But if she has any kind of special bulk, then it's a roll. So we'll see. Next up, we're going to have Assault Vest Rotom Maytag here, rocking out with Hydro Pump, Volt Switch, Thunderbolt, and Hidden Power Grass. Hopefully I don't see Zebstrika, because that thing kind of messes with this set. Because it could have Sap Sipper or Motor Drive, or Lightning Rod, I think are his 3 abilities. So 3 of my moves are either going to be immune or resisted, so not a great set up against Zebstrika. But other than that, we're running physically defensive with the Assault Vest as a pivot. Allows me to take some hits and get out. I needed this because of Mega Diancie. I didn't have a better answer than Mega Diancie because it can run Earth Power, so I need something that could switch into that, but it couldn't be Air Razor, because then she could just hit me up with a Diamond Storm. So we're running out with Assault Vest Rotom here. Pretty standard set. HP Grass is for the Gastrodon, because otherwise it completely walls me as well. And then other than that, we can pivot around her team pretty well. She does have the Ditto, which is something I haven't really brought up yet. So I also have to keep that in mind with Entei now that I'm saying it, because I don't want her to get that off. And she loves Ditto, so there's pretty much a guaranteed chance that Ditto's coming. If I had to guess actually what she's going to bring, I'm going to say Diancie, Scarflaty, Gastrodon, Ditto, maybe Scizor, and I don't know what else. Mismagius or Whimsicott, maybe? Well, I don't know. I'm pretty sure about those first 4 or 5. But yeah, anyway, this thing can just live any hit. I can switch into pretty much anything Mega Diancie can do, and then either fire off a Hydro Pump and really hurt it, or scare it out, and then pivot out myself. That's basically the plan with this thing. It's my answer to Mega Diancie. Next up, we have Colossus or Registeel, and I really wish I could find a way to work Stealth Rocks onto this set, but I don't know what I would swap out. I really don't. We're running specially defensive because she's got a lot of special presence on her team, and we resist all of it. We resist Whimsicott, Zebstrika. We resist everything on Diancie except for Earth Power. We resist Latios. We resist Mismagius. Oh, we don't resist Mismagius, but we're neutral to it. We resist X-Cloud. We resist the water from Gastrodon. So all around a pretty good wall against her special mons. So that's why we're going with a specially defensive set. And then I have the Iron Head for the Mega Diancie and the Whimsicott. I feel like this thing kind of baits in Diancie, because especially if I lead with it, because she'll think that I'm trying to get rocks off. And then I can just Iron Head and kill it, which would be great. Seismic Toss is just for everything else, basically, like Latios, Gastrodon, etc. Toxic is for the fatter mons with recovery that I can't hit, like Gastrodon. Also kind of Mismagius. And then Hidden Power Fire is for Scizor, which otherwise I can't really touch. Seismic Toss only does about like 22-23% to a Scizor, I think. And that's if there's no bulk on it. Whereas Hidden Power Fire can do upwards to 42%. So it's not a 2-co, but it's great. I can just get any chip damage I can get on Scizor is better, because Scizor's kind of a problem for my team. Next up, we have Egret or Sneasel. Rocking out with the Lychee Berry Pickpocket Natural Gift combo. Metal Claw knockoff and Ice Shard. Ice Shard is because I do think that Scarflaty is a thing. I do think Scarflaty is coming. Also, Whimsicott, no matter what, outspeeds us by 1 point, which is why we're not running max speed at 179. We're running enough Oh, actually, and Zipstrika. So we're running just enough speed to outspeed Mega Diancie and Latios. Although if the Latios is scarfed, it'll be faster. Metal Claw does a ton of damage to Diancie. Again, if there's prior damage on it, it does like 80%. If there's no physical investment. Knockoff does a ton to Laddie, does a ton to Miss Magius, which I do outspeed, thankfully. What else can I hit? I can just knock off items for that. And then the natural gift with Lychee Berry is a grass base 100 move, which does 75 to 90% to a Gastrodon, I think. I don't remember if that was the physical or the special one, though. I did a bunch of calcs, so I just have a bunch of numbers in my head. But I figured with this set, two things walled me: Gastrodon and Scizor. So I either had to go with a Grass Berry or a Fire Berry, and I opted for the Grass Berry because I have things I can switch into Scizor. You know, I can switch into Rotom. I can switch into Entei if I'm predicting a Bullet Punch. I could also switch into... I don't want to switch into Pidgeot, but I may be able to sack it. I can also switch into Garchomp, which, spoiler alert, is our last member who has the Ruskin. So I have a lot of switch outs for that, but I don't have a lot of switch outs for Gastrodon, especially if it wants to start spreading statuses around. It gets Ice Beam, it gets Scald, it gets Earth Power, which kind of is all it needs for my team. That hits a lot of stuff, especially what I ended up bringing. So, and my special wall is weak to Gastrodon's steel moves, being Registeel. So I opted to go with the Grass Berry, especially if I'm going to be getting, again, it'll switch in. I can get prior damage off. I'm assuming it'll probably eat an Ice Shard or a knockoff, and then I can just fire off the natural gift and get a surprise kill. And that's kind of what I like about Sneasel. Now, I don't know if Pickpocket can activate the same turn I use Natural Gift. If it does, that would be awesome. I also don't know if Pickpocket can work with Knockoff. I don't know if Knockoff counteracts Pickpocket, but why would I look into it when I can just throw things together? Last but not least, we have our Choice Scarfer of the week. We have Garchomp, our MVP, rocking out with Iron Head, Dragon Claw, Earthquake, and Fire Blast. We're running enough speed to outspeed Staraptor. Just enough to outspeed a Scarf Staraptor. It's the fastest thing we can outspeed. Allows us to put a little bit of points into our special attack for that Fire Blast. It's also why we're running a Naive Nature. We're running Naive because... actually, why are we running Naive? Because of Scizor? We should be running Hasty because Diancie and Latios hit us on the special side. We're not living anything from either of those without any investment anyway. Never mind, doesn't matter. We'll just keep it. But yeah, so the Fire Blast is predicting Scizor switch-ins, because otherwise it can it doesn't want to take Earthquakes from me, but it can. It's not a 2-co, I don't think, unless it's super frail for some reason. I think naturally it shouldn't be able to die. The Iron Head allows me to obviously kill Diancie, which, you know, if I switch this thing out against a Latios and it's not Scarfed, maybe she'll switch into predicting a Dragon move, and I can go for the Iron Head. Or I can also just hit the Whimsicott with it, and then Earthquake and Dragon Claw are just my stab moves because they hit like a truck from this thing. And that is the team this week. I originally had Drapion instead of Rotom, and Drapion had Poison Spikes. And I ended up changing it because of Mega Diancie. Drapion just couldn't handle Mega Diancie well enough for me to have it on the team. Especially since I know she's going to bring Diancie. She made a big point when she was doing her draft about Magic Bounce to me and how she wanted it, so I know she doesn't. She's probably just going to bring it every week so she doesn't have to deal with hazards, and people won't bring them. And that's why you draft. That's one of the reasons you draft Mega Diancie. But the chip damage would be nice for a couple of these calcs. So this may go bad if it's a good team. But if I make one absent-minded play, I can really put myself on the back foot. So we'll see how it goes. But anyway, that's it for this week, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.